Have you ever gone through something so big, so life changing, so traumatic sometimes, and felt like it is unfair that the world around you didn't stop? Because I don't know if it felt unfair to me, but it definitely felt so odd when I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and my entire world was turned upside down. But everyone else's lives felt the same. Have you ever felt that? I was having this discussion with someone who has the same illness as me recently, and we were really saying that it is so weird. Like, I mean, it is so weird because you you get hospitalized, you go through all this tests, you get a diagnosis, which in the case of multiple sclerosis, like, you can have things that are invisible. In my case, I saw double. So for an entire month, I saw double every day, all the time. Every time I opened my eyes, I even had vertigo for the first week. And so I actually could not do much. I couldn't even watch TV, read books. Like, I would just lay down and think about my life, which was kind of weird. But yeah, I don't know. I probably processed that a little bit because it doesn't. Yeah, it feels weird thinking back on it, let's be honest. And so I think this is the first thing, right? Sometimes something so big happened to you and it's invisible to others. Like, if I wouldn't have told people I was seeing double, like, they would not have known it. They might have thought I was a little bit unsteady on my feet. They might have thought something weird was going on, but they couldn't have known. And so there's like the invisible aspect of it. And I know a lot of you and a lot of us out there have invisible chronic illnesses where the toll of it isn't actually visible. There's the mental toll. You're going through all the steps of grief. You're experiencing anger, depression, your acceptance over and over and over again. It's not like, for some reason, when even though it's said when you read books on grief, it feels very like straightforward, but it isn't. It's actually over and over again, and it's a ping pong between emotions. It's very tiring, but it's a necessary process. You don't really have a way around it. And so there's the mental aspect of it all and everything. Like, you have to decide, for a chronic illness like mine, like, you have to decide, do you want to take any type of medication, what medication, then you have to prepare yourself, get blood drawn, a lot of other things. And then if you're like me, you're also going to be researching it a lot, figuring out what else can I do, what else is in my power, like changing my diet, movement, is there any energy work, is there any physiotherapy, is there, any hypnosis, anything specific that can help. Like, you're going to be looking at everything, and this is going to become your whole life, even though you try and make it that it's not. Like, initially it is. Initially it's just so overwhelming in the number of decisions you need to make, in the number of changes that will happen in your life. And at the same time, nothing changes. Like, nothing changes. And I'm not just talking about other people, I'm talking about you, because once you're taking your treatment, and I'm not saying this is the case for all illnesses, right? I'm really talking about my case, but you're taking your treatment, and once it's okay, like, you had that diagnosis, you're treated, but your life is normal. It's back to normal, and yet it will never be the same. Like, it is just the most paradoxical thing. It's, yeah. And then when you start medication, you can have some side effects, like was my case, so there is some impact there. Like, it's a whole journey. And then for me as well, the first 6 months were about knowing if the medication actually worked. So it's also, you're enjoying yourself because you can't really do anything else. So you're enjoying the moment and your everyday life, but you also have this in the back of your head saying what's going to happen, in 6 months, which, thank God, touching wood, knocking on wood, sorry, that's wood, it actually went well. So yeah, there's all those things, and it's just this crazy whirlwind. And for the person closest to you, the person who's going through this with you, it's also such a change. But for so many people, like your friends, etc., even though you want their support, it's just so weird to feel like nothing has changed. And I don't know if I'd say it feels unfair. I think probably while I was going through the process of grief, I felt like it was so unfair. But I think now I just feel like it is right. We all go through different things, and that's life. Fortunately and unfortunately sometimes. But the only thing I've found you can do in those moments is let the emotions flood you. Like, no matter how big they are, if you bury them down very deep, they're gonna come back up at some point. So even if you feel like it's unfair, don't feel guilty for that. Like, I know, I don't remember if I felt that for me, but I know recently someone I love was diagnosed close to me, and I felt like it was unfair. I felt like it was unfair. Like, I truly felt it. Like, I felt like this is unfair. And I'm not the kind of person who feels that things are unfair. I feel like they are. But you can feel it, right, in the way I express myself. I felt this overwhelming sense of unfairness. And a bit of guilt as well. And so you're gonna feel all those emotions, and sometimes they won't make sense, but there is no way to circumvent them. The only way through is to actually feel them. At least that's been my experience, and to experience them fully, and to, if you need to be sad for days, then be sad for days. I've gone through depression, so if there is a point you feel like you need help professionally, medically, therapy wise, or support from loved ones, ask. Even if it's super hard, believe me, asking is the best thing you can do in that case. But still, like, feel those emotions and don't feel guilty about having them. Don't feel if you're jealous of people living their life normally, that's absolutely fine too. Like, if you were supposed to do something and you can't do it because you are going through all those tests and doctor appointments and someone else is doing it, like going on a trip, you can feel jealous and you can feel mad at them for going, and you are allowed to feel what you want to feel. I'm not saying go and be mad at your friend, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying you're allowed to feel this and to process it in a way that feels right for you, and to then let it go over and over and over again. And then the second thing that's really helped me, and I don't know if that's the case for other people, if that can be helpful for other people, but turning what happened to me into a purpose. I don't really like when people say everything happens for a reason, because I feel like sometimes there are absolutely terrible things that happen to you that are absolutely awful, and I don't really see a reason for it. I think in this case, for me, I talked about this before, but I was at such a low point in my life, and multiple sclerosis woke me up for that I felt like there was a purpose to it. Like, my body was talking to me in a way, and my body was like ringing an alarm that I refused to see and had refused to see for a long time. But this is my interpretation, right? You don't have to take it if it doesn't feel right. I think it is very important that we all feel like we can own and interpret our own stories the way we want to. But the other thing that's very important to me is like making something positive out of what happens to us. And I've done this in the past with burnout, for instance. Like, I've actually worked with people who've had burnout while they were, and supporting them, coaching them through returning to work, returning to their work life, their companies that they had left while they had to go on sick leave, or reinventing their work life. Oh, I've got a mosquito on me. So many mosquitoes. And then, I don't know if you can hear, my cat is also not so far away. She's like having the time of her life. But I've also worked with women who've had breast cancer, and same thing, who are returning to work, and everything I've learned about managing my emotions and managing relationships with others and building my dream life, every type of systems I've learned through the journey, I've poured into something positive that could help others, and so that multiplies and has impact on others. And I decided to do the same thing with this. I decided that I would live my best life, and why not heal someday? And to truly believe this is a possibility, and to show people what happens when you do it, and to give hope. And doing YouTube is one way of doing this for me. So yeah, I think finding a purpose is something that really helps, finding something that is yours, and really also helps to get you out of the states of all those emotions somehow. And it can be parallel, you know, you can still be processing it. Yeah, like I'm not even saying 2 years after or like how many years after, it doesn't still happen that I'm processing it in a way, you know, like it happens. So yeah, whatever feels right to you and whatever feels good to you is okay. There is no right or wrong way to handle this. I mean, there are ways that have consequences, but you are doing your best. You are human. You are entitled to the emotions you feel, and you are entitled to feeling mad, sad, and angry that the rest of the world is still continuing to live as is, and that is okay. So if you're new here, my name is Lucille. I'm a 34-year-old who's gone through burnout, depression, and multiple sclerosis, and who's now living her best life, and yeah, showing you how I'm doing it in the hope that it gives you hope, it motivates you to do the same, or it helps you to learn something if that's what you're looking for. I post video every day. Every day. Oh my gosh, there's that running joke about me not being able to pronounce post, and I can do it. I say post instead of post, so I post every day, but now I'm gonna say it every day in a weird way. So I post every day, and so I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. To not miss anything, please subscribe, leave me a comment if there is anything specific that spoke to you, or that if you have any questions, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.